want to get started?
Sure. Sure. I just shut down the chat box, so I can't see anything else coming in.
Me too. Also, for everyone who's joining, thank you for joining, first of all. We're happy to have you. If you have questions during the event, try and submit them in the Q&A tab and not the chat tab. I think we're going to check the Q&A tab for questions, and we'll address all the questions at the end. So Cherie, you want to start maybe with talking a little bit about some of the trends that we're expecting to come out of this whole lovely COVID situation?
Well, sure. One of the things I was thinking about though last night, I think that this is probably the first time where there's a product development marketer along with a raw material supplier to really talk about textures and aesthetics and the sensorial sensations to anticipate coming down with trends and such, because as we continue to move, I don't see this so much, well, it's future development, but it's now. What's happening is now. The change is happening now. And if you're a brand and you have textures that I would say will be fitting into what the consumer is looking for, which is comfort, soothing, stress release, protection, hygiene, those types of products for sure. Now, if you have them, promote them. And then coming down the pike as development starts for your brand, and if you're doing it now or you're in the process, is to really focus on those areas, because that's what we all need right now. We want to feel protected, we want to feel safe, we want a sense of surety, because so much has been taken away from us so quickly. So I said as a top line, I would say as a top line for lifestyle and trends to really take a look at those types of positionings for your brand, and then sensations to go after as well.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that I think is interesting and that's going to work in our favor is that a lot of the trends that I think are going to emerge post-pandemic were already emerging pre-pandemic, which I find so interesting. Like wellness was already becoming huge. This move toward like fruits, vegetables, vitamins, like back to basic ingredients was already emerging. This kind of, emergence of a health concept was already emerging. So I think a lot of brands are already playing with those concepts, which is going to really benefit them post-pandemic. We also, even before this whole thing, we're seeing a move toward like thicker, richer, like you said, more cocooning, comforting textures. So it's interesting how the pandemic came in a point where like it almost played into trends that were already emerging.
It definitely has accelerated everything. If you were in that path, it just kind of affirmed and accelerated where we were going, especially with technology and AI and AR and merging that all together.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. So should we jump into the textures that we want to talk about today?
I think we're ready to go.
Cool.
Oh, and we wanted to mention the view options.
Oh, yeah.
So if you go, hopefully this is where it is on your screen. If you scan across the top with your cursor, there should be a view option that pops up. And then if you drop down, there's a side-by-side mode. Hopefully it's located on your screen at the top. You may have to search for it at the bottom. Everybody's screen is different. So if you do the view of side-by-side, you'll keep Lauren and I on one side of your screen, and then the PowerPoint will be on the other side of your screen.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready to go.
Yeah. So what we plan to do with everyone today, we have 4 different textures that we chose that fit kind of where we think products are going to go post-COVID. So either the texture or the concept or both are really going to be what consumers are looking for after the whole pandemic passes. So it's really just kind of an inspiration and a texture chat. So the first prototype we're going to look at is Deeply Comforting Cream, because with the pandemic, deep comfort is exactly what everyone is looking for, right? So I'm going to walk you a little bit through the formulation, and then Cherie will walk you through the concept and the claims and the texture. So Deeply Comforting Cream, it's a water and oil emulsion based on Emolium Illustro. This is our newest emulsifier at Gap SA. We launched it just last year. It's natural, It's vegan, and it's able to create water and oil emulsions that are really soft and modern without that kind of heavy, greasy feel that's often expected of water and oil. So it's a great way to bring hydration and protection to the skin, these things that consumers are looking for today. You can also see that this formula is extremely minimal. It's got only a handful of ingredients, so it fits nicely also with the whole minimalist, simple, and safe trend. And then the only other ingredient in here that I'll really call out is Compertol 888CG. This is an oil gelling agent that's bringing texture to this emulsion.
So I'm going to speak about the textures and then how this connects with the trends. So as Lauren has mentioned, it's naturally ingredient based. And when we look at the texture or the concept, first of all, the concept, we would say maybe a hand cream or a cocooning, hydrating body balm. And the reason being is that first you want to look at color, right? When you're doing aesthetic development, you look at the color, and then the texture is very soft. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight really is about sensation, texture, the sensorial piece of product development, because a lot of times we're just like, oh, I want a product for my body and I want it to be a cream. But when we speak about texture, this one is very soft. The application is very buttery. I'm trying to give you a version of this. The slip on this is another way that we speak about aesthetics, especially when you're speaking to your chemist. So the slip is very nice. It's a little bit extended. And what I mean by that is that the amount that I put on, really, I could go straight up my arm with that. So it's very moisturizing. And then it transitions really nicely with the playtime. So that means that when I put it on, it's not dragging. It's not dragging on my skin. It really just slips and slides up. And that's one of the properties that not only you want to look for when you're developing a product is application on the area that you're going to use it on. It's also a consumer perception of how that product is going to work for them. So aesthetically, it's white in color. It's a soft and easy pickup, and it leaves the skin very moisturized on the after feel. Now, one of the things I just also wanted to mention that from BeautyEdge, these are starter formulas. They're all stable. However, you can still make tweaks and adjustments. So if you wanted to change out some of the materials because it has to fit to a certain concept that you've already developed, that's accessible as well. So some of the claims on this, we would say it wraps the skin in hydrating comfort. The skin feels nourished and less parched. And that's one of the things we're probably going to be seeing a lot of demand for, is especially for hands, dry skin. And then even going into the summer or fall area, by the time product comes around and being available for launching, you'll feel probably at the end of the summer more dry body skin. So it also helps to restore lost moisture and provides skin protection. And Lauren, you have on here, it's 95+% all natural. So if you're looking for that whole natural ingredient, comforting trend, this is a great starter formula to start with. We're good for the next slide.
Yeah, hang on. Struggling. Okay. So you want to talk to it, or you want me to talk?
So I'll speak to this then. So this is one of the things that I appreciate about with BeautyEdge is that they have a expert evaluation panel that's located in France. And this panel has been trained for years and years, right? It's been in existence for about 10 years already. And so if you're not certain when you're developing a formula where your textures is, say you're not, and not in a bad way, but you're just not certain, is it creamy enough? Does it have enough slide? Does it penetrate quick enough? You can take your formula and they will ship it out to France for you on their expert panel, and you'll get an evaluation like this spider chart. And this spider chart really matches pretty much what I've just said. The spreadability is around a 5, the softness, the after feel, it really isn't greasy, but it leaves a dewy feel on skin. So these are some of the attributes and some of the aspects as an evaluator that we look at when we're developing a product, because we want the person to really experience a product well, but we don't want it to be too greasy or too dry or too draggy on skin.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that this profile kind of points out is that even though it's a water and oil emulsion, The greasiness and the greasy afterfeel are quite low. Tacky afterfeel is extremely low, so it could be used as a really nice, comforting hand cream. And yeah, as you said, hand care is going to be huge following this because everyone's hands are so dry from washing them all the time. All right, so the next texture that we want to talk about is liquid balm. So this texture kind of fits in the same vein as the last one, with being very cocooning, hydrating. But the interesting thing about this texture is that it's a little bit deceiving. It looks very light and liquid in the jar. As you can see, we have it in kind of a pump, so more for like a lighter texture. But then when you apply it, it's very rich, moisturizing, and nourishing on the skin. So unlike the last formulation that was water and oil, this is a standard oil and water formulation. It's Emulsion Mellifera MB, which is probably our most popular natural emulsifier. Its distinguishing characteristics are that it leaves a very light, almost non-existent film on the skin. So it's great for like second skin formulations or very kind of light formulations. It will bring hydration without feeling heavy on the skin. It also adapts to climate. So it will have a similar feel whether you apply it in a hot, humid environment or in a cold, dry environment. But of most interest post-pandemic for consumers, it also helps to protect the skin's healthy biome. So we talked about how skin immunity and skin health are going to be really top of mind for consumers, and microbiome really plays nicely into that. A healthy microbiome means a healthy skin. And so studies on this particular emulsifier show that a formula with Emulsion Mellifera at 4% was able to protect or improve taxonomic richness and diversity for 81% of panelists. So really great for, again, these kind of microbiome skin immunity stories. Also in this formula, to make it really nourishing and moisturizing on the skin, we've included Actiseer MB, which is a butter technology that helps to improve the skin's micro relief and improves hydration. And we have Liposeer ASG, which is a wax butter that melts at body temperature. So it's really giving this balm that kind of melting, nourishing sensation. And then just quickly, I'll also touch on Skin Repair Bio. This is the active in this formulation. It's a cotton thistle flower extract that stimulates epidermal regeneration and repair. So it helps to restore the skin's barrier function for enhanced moisturization and protection. And again, skin immunity, a strong barrier function is going to help to protect your skin.
Ooh, we are on the orange one. There we go.
It keeps jumping the slides. I don't know why.
Slippery fingers. Okay, so this one, as you can see, it is a peach formulation, and for healthy skin, as Lauren had mentioned. And the concept for this that I thought would be interesting would be like a fluid eye balm and a shadow primer at the same time. So it's like a hybrid. So the formulation is super light. I really, really like the texture. It is a peach color. And you can make adjustments to this, but one of the things that I thought of with having a peach color as an eye balm is it helps to diffuse some of the shadowing, like a color corrector. So if you tend to have a bit of shadowing under your eyes, you can use like a peach color to help address that. Also, the way that this applies onto skin, it is light and fluid and sheer. It absorbs nicely, very quickly into the skin. It has a nice slip and a nice transition on playtime, but with that dewy and after feel effect, and after it dries, there is a little bit of firming and tightening sensation that you feel. So when you're using a primer for eyeshadow and such, having that texture helps to adhere the eyeshadow so that it stays in place and it's very blendable and it helps with long wear. So if you're looking at something that is an eye product, start to consider how it can be a hybrid product, more than one use to utilize with skincare and then application for helping for your eyeshadow last longer. So some of the claims on this could be soothes tired eyes. We'll be on our computers a lot more. We'll be on Zoom conferences a lot more. Immediately hydrates with a light balmy texture. I like the texture again because it's not a gel, it's not a cream, it's not a heavy balm. It's like a serum balm. So it gives a bit of a newness to how you can speak about the aesthetic. It also can help correct some of that shadowing under the eye and on the eyelid as well, as your consumer is using it and considering it.
Great. So we didn't have a sensory profile for that one. We don't have a sensory profile for all of them, unfortunately. So the next one is a really fun product. We call it UFO, Unidentified Formulation Object. It was from our kind of cosmic themes inspiration earlier this year. It's a really light highlighter for the skin. So this formulation is based on fluorostearic MB, another naturally derived emulsifier that brings a powdery sensation or a powdery touch to formulations. You can see, if you look in phase C, that quite a bit of the water in this formulation is actually made up of original extracts. So this is an interesting concept. And this formulation even could have been waterless in a way. So original extracts are waters extracted from fruits and vegetables. In the case of original extract Lemon Bio, which is included here, this is water obtained directly from lemons and certified organic. So it can replace the water in organic formulations to help you reach that 90 or 95% threshold that you need to claim organic. It brings a fruit, vegetable, vitamin storage formulations, which, as I've mentioned a couple times, is becoming very trendy now, as consumers are more concerned about health and they want healthy ingredients in their formulas. We also call these extracts living waters because they contain trace elements, mineral salts, and essential oils that were present in the original plant. So there's a lot of interest behind these ingredients right now for all of those reasons, for the skin health claims, for the waterless claims, for organic claims. If you look at the inky name, you can see that it's actually lemon fruit water. So it's not like a lemon extract, it is the water from the fruit. And then the last ingredient that I will highlight in this formulation is Gasoline Radiance. This is an ingredient that improves the skin's skin microcirculation for a better complexion, but also contributes to the health of the skin as well. So it's been shown to improve skin's complexion and texture and soothe sensitive skin, even in highly polluted environments. So even though we know that right now we're all in quarantine, the pollution has gone down a little bit, it's still obviously a major concern. And once we go back to normal life, pollution will be back, and we need to think about pollution protection as well. So Gasoline Radiance will help to bring that protection to the formulation.
Okay, so as Lauren has mentioned, the trend skin protection, pollution, energizing. I wanted to point something out with what is very important, and I think we've kind of walked away from it a little bit, is really bringing color into product development, also bringing fragrance into product development again, because it is about sensation. And especially with social media, color is very important when you're taking snapshots of your product and such. And this one is one of my favorite ones. It's a very illuminating blue color, as you can see from the image there. And again, when I looked at this as a texture and a formula, I said to myself, you know, this could be more than just a highlighter. I see this as a primer again, and it's hydrating. So you have a hydrator, a primer, and a highlighter all in one. Because of the luminosity, I don't think I put anything on here. This has a, you may not see it in the screen, but oh yes, you can. It has a nice glow to it. Now, I tried all of these formulas on my face first, so this is not going to shine off in this fashion. I think it's the lighting that's coming off and bouncing off of this, but it's really a very nice glow on skin. So it's a pearlized blue. It's very, very light in a fluid serum form. Again, it's similar to the peach formula that we had, but this one is a little bit more water wet. And when I speak to water wet, again, it goes back to what is the sensation when you're creating your concept. I'm thinking blue, I'm thinking water, I'm thinking healthy, you know, bringing the fresh waters that Lauren had mentioned into the concept development when you're creating your story. This transitions very easily. It's quick absorbing, and then it leaves a nice highlight on the skin. So if I were to use this, and I have used this on full face, I could just take this, put it on my full face, and I have a light halo effect, a light brightening effect, but it's not coming out blue or anything like that. It dissipates very easily. At the same time, I'm getting all of these benefits from the technology, and then I can either use it alone or I can use it as a primer to help to keep my foundation in place. So some of the claims I thought about for this is moisturizes and gently adds a halo brilliance to skin, because again, even though it looks blue, it doesn't come out blue on your face. It helps to boost skin's microcirculation, so it gives you that healthy, energized look to your skin, a relaxed look to the skin. Skin looks healthier and more vibrant, and it helps to even skin tone immediately and over time. So an evening skin tone immediately, what I'm saying is it's going to give a light brilliance to the skin, but not anything that's overdone. This is one of my favorites, UFO. We're ready for the next slide. Oh, and this one also has one of the expert evaluation graphs. So as you saw when I was applying it before, how it matches up to the aesthetics of this product. So the spreadability had a nice slip. If you noticed, I was rubbing back and forth. It's a nice slip. Now, in product development, from a marketing perspective, if you felt like the slip was too long, like it took too long to penetrate, you can certainly speak with your formulator to make that adjustment and say, you know what, I don't want it to take so long to rub into my skin. So let's reduce that process. The soft after feel and softness on the skin is the same. Definitely is not greasy. Definitely is not greasy at all. And the film residue, there's no tackiness. There's nothing sticking here. So that would relate to that. So we're good for next slide.
All right, and then the last formula for today is another kind of cosmic themed texture. This is our moon mask. So this texture in the jar, you can kind of see in the picture, is designed to have a thick crater appearance like the surface of the moon. So just something kind of fun, different. It brings moisturization, complexion enhancing, and protection to the skin. So let's take a look at the formula. So again, in this one, we're using another natural emulsifier from our range. This time it's Emolium Kappa MB, used at 4%, so you have a really kind of a luxurious texture to the formula. Emolium Kappa MB was designed to give formulations a silicone-like feel without requiring the use of silicones, since many customers are looking to phase silicones out of their products now. We have Gasoline Radiance. Again, this is the natural active to enhance skin radiance and luminosity by boosting microcirculation. And then Energenius is a natural active that's clinically tested to protect the skin against screen-emitted light. So this is an interesting active. It's derived from ashwagandha, or Indian ginseng, which is a well-known adaptogen and health supplement used to reduce stress and enhance energy and well-being. And what Gapasay found is that it's also able to protect the cell cytoskeleton and mitochondrial network from the harmful effects of artificial visible light. So with major shifts in the way that people are working, socializing, and unwinding, protecting from screen light is, of course, a key piece in maintaining skin health right now and function. So it's really a modern approach to this broader wellness movement that's so prevalent in skincare today.
Alrighty, moon mask. So the moon mask is gray in color, and again, going back to visual being very important, because especially if you have a brand that's online, people need to have some sense of connection to the texture itself. So this one is a gray color. It also has a slight pearl in it as well. So I call this one a gentle skin purge facial mask. And the product itself, it's very creamy. And when you have a mask like this, there is something called a semi-soft dry down. So it does not dry down hard on the skin, although you might think it would. It's a semi-soft dry. So in doing that, it doesn't dehydrate the skin. When you rinse it off, your skin's not super red because there's this load of clay in it that just tightens your skin up. But what it does do is that it does help to refine the pores. So it does help to physically tighten the pores a little bit from a visual perspective. It helps to purge out any debris in the skin. And then also, because of the adaptogen, it helps to reduce any skin stress. And we're all have been going through, and I believe at some level we'll continue to deal with what we call stress. I wish there was a better word for it, because I don't always like to say that I'm stressed, and I don't want to say that I'm anxious or anything else, but we're going through changes, and those changes do affect our skin and how they look. So after this is removed from skin, it rinses easily with water, and then you can follow it with a damp cotton pad. And the skin is very smooth. Like, the texture of my skin was very smooth. It looked healthy. Some radiance had come up, and it felt very clean and fresh. So this one I really liked. But again, going back to color, this doesn't have any fragrance. I probably would put some type of a fragrance in this as well, so that the consumer would experience more of a relaxation feel.
Yeah.
This one have a chart? I know. I think we're good for the next slide.
Yeah,
No chart on this one.
All right, so that's it, and we're like right at 30 minutes. So we have a few minutes to take questions. If anyone has questions, feel free to submit them in the Q&A tab.
So while you're waiting for questions, one of the things, just so everybody knows, what we decided to do is, like, let's come together from a perspective of GATFSA with raw materials, product development, marketing, and see how we both work together. Because sometimes when you think of product development, it goes either R&D or it goes only in marketing. So merging these two together. So I love GATFSA with their materials and a lot of the textures that this is so minimal, the textures that are available, but they have beautiful textures. So how do you bring that to a fuller concept? How do you, someone like me would suggest, well, maybe you should put a color in it, or maybe a different fragrance. Whereas GATFSA has all of these high level technology, very effective ingredients to help to give a benefit to the skin at the end. Because the other trend that's going to happen is that the products have got to work. Not that they didn't work before, but you have to prove it out now. People are looking for protection, performance, and a lot of substantial evidence of what's going to happen to their skin. Because as we look at what their finances are going to be, their investment has to be of value as well.
Absolutely. So we did have a question about whether people can request samples. Yes. Keep your eye out. Probably tomorrow you'll receive a follow-up email from this event, and in that email there will be a link to an online form where you can request any information that you'd like to receive from either me or Cherie, and you can request prototypes, samples, and product information. That's no problem. And then you'll also have the recording of this webinar if you want to go back and look at the formulations again or anything like that. Someone said, thank you for the presentation. You're very welcome. And then we have a specific question about formulating with Comprotol, but it's really specific. So Anna, I will reach out to you after this and I can help you answer that, no problem. Any other questions? We do have a couple of minutes.
And then we put, also you could reach out to Lauren, her email address is, we probably already have Lauren's email address. My information is there, my website is there, and I also have a newsletter called Edge Notes. And what I do is I don't send out a lot. I try to make my content very succinct to trends, so you won't be hearing from me every day of the week or once a week, probably 2 times a month. But I update on trends and different technologies that I find interesting, or what's going out new in the industry that I find coming down the pike.
All right, so it looks like that's it on the questions. So Cherie, it was lovely to chat with you. We should do this again. And
yeah, I would love to do this again. And I think you're going to send out a questionnaire. So
yes.
please be frank, because this is the first time we're doing it. We're stepping out, and I find this is fun. I love product development, the aesthetic development, and love Lauren and the Gut to Stay team. So we'd love to have some feedback to see what would make this better or what you enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you get that email tomorrow,
Alrighty.
fill out the survey. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.